What's up, guys? This is Ben Nauman here with Flip Texas. We have our power player of the day, Norberto, Clemente.
Thanks,
I
bro.
hope I'm saying that right.
Yeah, you're saying it right, yeah.
And thought we would just have a chat here with him about owner financing.
Mm-hmm.
He actually closed a deal here today. I saw a large pile of cash.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is, what's going on there. We don't usually get large piles
It's
of
not
cash.
common. It's not common, but it happens sometimes.
From our closings, but I have plenty of questions here for Norberto. I know his specialty is the owner financing, and I have a lot to learn here, so I selfishly wanted to ask him a bunch of questions, but I thought we would just record this as well. Thought so some other people can get some gems, some nuggets. And how's it going, man? What's going on?
All good, brother. All good, man. Thanks for having me here. So I was telling Ben a story about this house, this deal that we closed today. And it's funny because I actually got that deal subject to 5 years ago, about 4 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. So, but I started doing real estate about 5 years ago. So I was kind of new when I got that deal on the contract. It was actually my first deal. Okay. And I had exhausted all my funds in marketing, right? Like what happened, which is something that happens sometimes, when you're starting out and you are unable. I was a you may call it a starving artist before doing real estate, and so I didn't have the funds to afford, right, or the money to afford a coach or coaching. So I paid a few courses here and there, 2,000 whatever, and some online stuff, content on YouTube, saving a bunch of stuff and put it in a folder in my computer. And so that's how I started learning about real estate, wholesaling and all that stuff. So I put all my money, as what I was making as an artist full time, plus some credit cards, in marketing. I maximized all my credit cards.
So you're really into the creative financing.
Yes. So, but still, I wasn't able to close deals because you can spend thousands of dollars in marketing if you know how to negotiate and close and do follow-ups and all that kind of stuff. You won't close anything. So I wasn't closing anything until I got this deal. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I went to negotiate a deal in Texas City, and I was driving by, and a lady saw that we buy houses in the back of my car. And she stopped me, and she said, my son wants to sell his house. So she took me to this property that I sold today, owner finance. And I talked to the guy and I negotiated, and it was a cash deal. And I had already a buyer aligned after 15 days or so of doing marketing. To buy it. I was gonna make $6,000. And those $6,000 would represent everything to me at that point, because I had exhausted all my funds, all my credit cards maximized in marketing.
So you're like crossing your fingers, like a lot of people do, like, man, I need this one to close.
And I took my wife to celebrate that night, because once I had the buyer secured, I was like, this is a done deal. I'm gonna make $6,000. I'm gonna be able to continue putting money into marketing.
But did you have clear title yet, or no?
Yeah, we got all that, So I was excited. I was ready to get the deal closed. But when I went to a little restaurant nearby where we were living, one bedroom, one bath apartment in Westheimer. And so we went there, to celebrate. 8 p.m., I decided to call the guy to inform the guy that we were going to close a week after. And so when I called the guy to give him the good news, he gave me some bad news. And the bad news was that he was not ready to sell, okay? So at that point, I started crying like a baby in the middle of the restaurant, okay? I didn't care people seeing me, because it was everything to me, those $6,000. And so I left the restaurant heartbroken that night. It was really, really, really tough. I knew that I wasn't gonna give up, because I had already made my mind up about real estate. I saw real estate as an opportunity, real estate investment as an opportunity to me, and I didn't have any other future. Like as an artist, you can make some money, but it's not like the type of lifestyle that you can achieve by doing a real business where you can get passive income. And that you can scale, right? It's just an incredible opportunity, real estate investing. For me, it changed my life. So after that, right, like a year after or so, one of my mentors, a guy that I appreciate a lot, that I love, His name is Hugo, right? Probably he will see this video. I don't know, but he's a friend on Facebook, Hugo.
Okay.
A lot of people know him. So Hugo actually invited us, his mentees, to a little meeting or something where we were going to talk about following up, following up with leads. And so he said, okay, today what we're going to do is follow up with all leads that we have sitting in our CRM or Excel spreadsheet.
Like his leads, your leads, or something.
Exactly. So everybody pull his leads to start calling. And I was like, okay, well, the old leads that I got a few people here. So I went through the list and he was in the list, that guy. So I called him that day and it turns out that he was ready to sell again. At that point.
Wait, this was the same
guy.
The same guy that backed out on
the same guy that backed out on me.
Man.
And it was the first deal. And so I was so excited. I was like, wow, I mean, this follow-up really works, okay? This follow-up really works. So I went to see the guy, and as a matter of fact, at that point, I actually knew how to, run comps better, run some numbers, and I noticed that there wasn't a lot of meat in the deal. Mm-hmm. So, and he was really desperate to leave the house, so we negotiated subject to. Okay. And that was one of, I think by when I got that property under contract to do subject to, I had already done one deal, one subject to deal. Actually.
Okay.
So it turns out to be that one, my second subject to deal. And so I got a subject to, I gave the guy $1,000. I realized after giving $1,000, I could have done a zero subject to down type of deal. And
you
so
gave him how much again?
I gave him just $1,000.
Okay.
I got $1,000. I got the house in my name. So I put about $4,500 on the house, and then I sold it.
Like in renovations.
I actually
renovations.
Yeah.
People, this is probably people sometimes are first grade about
makeup, a little bit of makeup. So I sold it to this guy that brought the $25,000 today on a lease to purchase for 2 years. 2 years to exercise the option.
Okay, so you do lease options.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I want to ask so many questions.
Well, I'm not an expert at that. Okay. But I know that you are not supposed to legally.
I know there's some laws about that here in Texas.
Wait, 2 years, right? But there are some contracts that you can get into place. Mm-hmm. If you have the right contracts, you can do it legally.
Okay.
The
attorney
and postpone it 6 months and 6 months up to like 2 years.
Okay.
A 2 year term. So there's a way to do it. Okay, there's a way to do it, and I'm not an expert at that, but and so probably, but I can point you out to the expert in this field. All right. So go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna be overwhelming you with so many questions, but because the lease option would even be better for me than selling. So Norberto was actually scheduled to go look at a rental that I own in Lamarck, to show it to a buyer. So he's going to try to help us sell this property owner finance. And so essentially when you're owner financing, you're selling the property, but you're collecting that down payment, and then you're making that monthly spread. But correct me if I'm wrong though, on a lease option, we're going to be able to, and when I sell owner finance, I'm going to sell it for that price, but I'm not going to be able to resell it for any more down the line. But on that lease option, I'm going to get that extra tax write-off, and then if they didn't take that option, so the extra tax write-off, and then what other benefit on the lease option?
You can capture the equity, the appreciation over time, and sell it, at whatever it appraises when they are ready to exercise the option.
Okay.
Right? But the thing with that is, well, you can do it. I mean, you can definitely do it, but if you find the right person, let's say somebody that doesn't have the full amount. The full amount. I mean, okay.
For down payment.
Okay. Here's the thing: you can sell owner finance. A lease to purchase with the option to exercise. Okay. But they have to actually bring bank financing to the table. Okay.
But that's a couple years down the line.
Correct. And or you can sell lease to purchase. But instead of them, you be the guy that qualifies.
And then you finance them.
You finance it to them. Now,
well, that's a win-win-win.
Exactly. But the thing is, like, for example, if you want to make more cash, the lease to purchase is not the best option, because
Really?
with owner financing you can get a greater down payment.
A greater, okay.
So
Greater down
and
payment.
and so that's what I like. Plus,
No
you know,
repairs. Well,
exactly.
no repairs either way, though, probably. But
plus is you're gonna find when you're doing marketing, in my opinion, all right, maybe because I don't tap that much into lease to purchase. I don't have a lot of leads for lease to purchase, right? But in my experience, you can find more people interested in owner finance rather than lease option, especially because it's hard when it comes to
the buyers that want to do that.
yeah, it's no, number one is you can explain it, all right, but it's gonna be harder than just owner financing. Everybody knows what that is, you know. And number two, people have to like that option, right? Because you know, when you tell them, you know what, but depending on what the house appreciates for, you know, X term, when it's due, your full down payment or your refinancing or your financing, whatever, that's going to be the price that you're going to pay for. You know, some people, you know, don't like that the property's going to go up. You see what I'm saying? So it's a different type of client, you know, different type of, you know, buyer. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
So I deal more with owner financing, and plus, you know, it's easier to explain.
Okay.
You know.
So I want to talk about what, for me, so you know, selfishly and for everybody else here, what are the steps and things people need to know about doing like your first owner finance deal? So like, say this property in Lamarck, I own the property in Lamarck. I bought it subject to. That's probably might be another talk for another day. We don't want to overwhelm everybody, but I bought the property subject to. I owned it as a rental, and now the tenant's lease is up, and I want to sell it on a wrap. Like, what you know, kind of what does that look like for wrapping my first property, and kind of like the basics.
Correct.
Of
Well,
that.
Here's another thing: when you buy a subject to, or you're gonna sell it, owner finance, you got to remember too that there's an underlying mortgage. And that underlying mortgage has the option to exercise it, do and sell, which means, you know, ask you for the full amount that owed after the deed is transferred. Now, they haven't done it and the deed is on your name yet, so chances are they don't care.
They haven't chose that option.
Okay, so some mortgages, or most of the time, the mortgage is not they're not going to care unless you default, you start having issues, you know. And still, I've had those houses where, you know, the loan servicing is paying, and all of a sudden, you know, they're behind a month, and I don't even know, right?
Really?
Sometimes it's hard to track if you got several deals on, you know,
a bunch of notes.
portfolio.
Exactly. I want
So that's another job that you know, even though you have a loan servicing, taking care of that, you still want to have somebody on your team following up, checking, you know. So, anyways, going back to that, it's number one, you got to figure out, you know, what price you want to sell it for, how you want to structure the sale. For example, I have one deal only that's actually the way that I would like to I would like to do all the deals that I do, right? Which is, you put the property under a trust, you know that if it's a subject to, right?
Yeah.
You put it under a trust, and then you transfer the beneficiary. I have one house that's exactly what we did. I put it under the trust, okay, name after the seller's name and the street and all that kind of stuff, or a weird name that you want.
Yeah.
And then I just transferred the beneficiary interest, and that's how I sold it. You know, transfer the beneficiary.
So it creates a little anonymity there.
Exactly. It's still owner finance. Somebody else owns the house now, right? But I just transfer my beneficiary interest on the trust.
So maybe it's a little anonymity there, right?
Exactly. And some people, you know, might say, I know some people that they say, no, but if it's in a trust, the bank can still inquire. Okay, well there are several ways that you can go around that, and another way that you can do it is you put it under a trust and making the beneficiary the seller, but then having another document where the seller transfer his beneficiary rights on the property to you. That document, you don't need to show it to the mortgage in case the mortgage inquires about the trust owning the property. Okay, but it transfer right now. Okay, so I want to see the seller there. Okay, you want to see it? Okay, well, look, this is another document where you see who owns or who's the beneficiary of the trust. This is, you know, the seller. Okay, the seller on title. So that would, you know, kind of like allow you to go around the mortgage, and you know, but you don't show them this document right here where the
Who's
seller
yeah.
transferred the beneficiary rights to you.
So
okay?
that's not their business to be able to look at.
No. So and you can and again you can assign the beneficiary. You are the beneficiary of the trust. You can assign your rights to the purchaser or to the new buyer that's selling owner finance. But remember, they are going to hold the property on the trust. It's not going to go to their name. It's just there's going to be a transfer of beneficiary rights. You know.
Okay.
So that's one way to do it. Okay. And it's a really
and to
really
get this
way.
straight for everybody, you're talking about the structuring of when you're buying subject to.
When you're buying subject to.
We haven't gotten into owner.
But again, when you're selling owner finance,
it makes
you transfer the beneficiary rights of the. That's the one way to do it. You can, when you're
so
selling,
it affects how you exit.
How you exit.
Your entry affects your exit. Is what you're kind of saying.
Correct, but also that's an exit that can protect you if you bought the property originally. Subject to the property that you're selling on finance, if you bought original owner,
so right now
to
I own it in an LLC.
Correct. But you can also, just sell the LLC on finance. I mean, that's a way. If you hold one property on one LLC, that's one way for you to sell on finance too. Now,
can you get cash when you sell your LLC?
But now. Most of the time, and I have a bunch of houses that were directly transferred because I didn't know and all that kind of stuff to the buyers. Mm-hmm. So now the buyers own it; they are subject tos. Okay, the buyers are the ones in the deed. The mortgages don't care about that. All right, so
you're not even in between the two. You just let them take over.
Correct.
Now you're out of the deal, really.
Yeah. So you're just collecting your interest. Basically. So generating profits without worry about tenants and toilets, which is what I like. And when it comes to single family, every investor has their own way to do it, right? Every investor has their exit or whatever. And I understand that that you want to capture some equity, but if you want to also capture some equity and get rid of the worries, with dealing with tenants, you can sell lease to purchase, lower down payment. Okay, so it's easier for people. Okay, you're gonna have that challenge of explaining that to them. They agree to purchase the property, with the equity once they are ready, or with the appreciation, or at the price appreciated at the time where they are ready to exercise their right to purchase.
Okay.
So you can do that, capture equity, but without having to deal or capture or make it passive income without having to deal with the headaches of tenants, which is why I don't like, I don't like it at all.
So do you? So you can, from what I'm hearing for you as well. Mm-hmm. Option one from what you've done before is you've gone out, you get these subject to deals through. It sounds like through door knocking, through referrals, through agents. If I remember right, I don't think I remember you on Facebook. Getting a deal off some deals off MLS subject to, which that's free leads, free deals. People are probably like, what, you can get, and then the agents probably don't know what's going on. So you're getting these from different places. Mm-hmm. I'm curious how you explain that to the agent that you're buying a subject to, but
that's a challenge always.
And then from that point on, you're deciding, on some of them. Do you hold them? On some of them, you can hold them as the notes, and on some of them, are you just collecting a fee and then kind of stepping out? So, you're holding multiple notes right now.
Yes, that's what you want to do.
So you're really really creating passive income, because I know a lot of people have rentals and stuff where it looks like you're making $300 a month. But then, there's repairs that come up, and then you're driving out there, and there's just pros and cons. But I think this is truly what people want for rentals, passive.
Correct. This is what I like about subject twos. All right, it's just common sense. Okay, you don't have to come up with the full amount to purchase the property outright. Number one, leverage. Okay, so number two. You can that actually subject to, it allowed me to do deals without money out of pocket whatsoever. Now,
there's a couple things to that though, right? Are you having to?
Yes,
you explain that, and then I'm sure there's a couple different things, because say for instance, I can do flips right now where I'm not bringing much money, so I don't like to do subject twos if I have to bring 30,000 of my own cash to closing, and then there's 20,000 in repairs, and it's like, hey, this is a great subject to rental, and it's gonna be 50,000 out of pocket, and then how many rentals can you buy if you're 50,000? So option one I see is you're bringing a private lender in, to a deal that doesn't have much equity, or option B, you're using the buyer's funds. I'm guessing you're using the buyer's funds to give any down payment or closing costs.
The secret isn't the way to structure it, right? The way to structure it. Structure it when you buy it, structure it when you sell it.
Okay.
It comes down to the presentation.
Okay, the presentation
what sells is
to the buyer or to the seller?
What sells and what makes the money is the presentation. Okay, the presentation.
Okay, let's do a role play. I'm the buyer, I'm the seller. Which presentation do you want to do?
Okay,
let's do it right now.
Okay, let's do the buyer.
Okay. Yeah, so I inquire. I know you said on your sign. I just called your sign. Mm-hmm. It says that you have houses owner finance. I'm interested in buying a house. Can you tell me a little more?
Oh, actually, no. Let's do the seller.
Okay.
The seller first. Yeah,
okay.
Seller first. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah. So I know you talked to my agent. I think you reached out to my agent, and she said that you may be able to purchase the property for the full price that we had listed on the market for, or may have another option.
Correct.
Can you tell me a little more about that?
Sure. What are your plans after selling? You're selling right now.
I really need to move to Detroit. My family is over there in Detroit, and I really just need to get out from under this property. Get this off the books. I don't want to deal with this property anymore. It does need a little cosmetics here. And the issue that my agent is telling me is that she says we can't lower the price anymore because I owe $235. I owe $150,000. We'll just say $150,000 on the property. So she says we can't lower the listing price anymore. I need to move to Detroit. So I need, I'm just trying to figure out what to do here. Yeah.
Sure. Well, if you're gonna need some money, right, when you sell, obviously, to move to Detroit and to continue with your plans, right? Are you planning on buying a new house when you get to Detroit, or just gonna stay with somebody? You gonna rent? How's that gonna work?
To be frank with you, actually, I'm gonna move in with my daughter. I'm moving my daughter and her family. Spend some more time with my grandkids there. Yeah. That's awesome.
So here's the thing, all right? Right now, you have an agent. Okay, if I bring an agent to the table, you're gonna pay 6% roughly, right, on agents, plus 2%, 2.5, 3% or something at closing. All right, so you're gonna have around 2% at closing. So you have a total of 8% that you're gonna have to give away in fees. Plus, you gotta pay Uncle Sam as well, right? When you sell, if you walk out with some money, right?
I don't pay them now.
Okay. So how much money are you gonna put in your pocket now? Here's what I got for you. All right. So the way I can help you is, I can actually cover your moving costs. I can cover all the closing costs. All right. But the only way I'm gonna be able to do this and purchase at your price is if you leave the mortgage existing in place. Now, this, if you're not planning to buy a house in 6 months or a year, it's not going to affect you. As a matter of fact, if you want to buy another house after I buy yours, this way with the mortgage in place, you'll be able to qualify for another mortgage.
Really?
Yeah, you will be out of the debt to income ratio. You won't have this house as debt to income ratio because I will be able to prove through the loan servicing company that we're going to hire, or we're going to outsource the monthly payments to the mortgage, that you are not paying for this house anymore.
Okay.
So that will allow you to get another loan and purchase it. And now,
it sounds a little scary. It sounds a little too good to be true, to be honest with you.
Sure, it's not the common way to purchase houses, but here's the thing: there's a traditional way and non-traditional way of buying a house. So this is a non-traditional way of buying a house. It's 100% legal. We'll do it through a title company. Okay, you will be able to walk away with some money on your pocket. I'll put some money in your pocket. The only thing I need is just a mortgage in place. Why? Because I'll be able to leverage all the money that I have to pull, and I have to pay a hard money loan, which is at a higher interest rate, to purchase a house. It wouldn't allow me to bring all the cash. I will actually need to be around 70% of the market value minus the repairs that the house may need right now. And
Okay.
you don't need to touch the house at all. You don't even need to, you don't need to clean anything. Whatever you don't want, you can leave it. You don't need to dump anything. I'll take care of all that. Pay you for your moving, your plane ticket, everything. I just need you to leave the mortgage in place.
Okay. Why do you want that mortgage in place? So you're saying you're going to make my payments moving forward for a certain amount of time? Like, is there a certain time limit? And then, why do you need that? And how long
Correct.
do you think we're expecting?
So I'll need it because that's the way. That's why I'll be able to offer full market value or your asking price, full asking price. That's the only way I can do it. Okay. Again, I'm leveraging all the money that I borrowed to purchase the house.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, in regards to the monthly payments, if you're concerned if we're going to do it or not, here's another thing. We can easily put a promissory note in place that if I don't pay you,
Mm-hmm.
or if I don't make a payment, you can take the house back. So
Okay.
I mean that will make
fair.
everything even even if I don't pay, you're gonna make more money than what you're making right now because you get to keep the house plus the money that I gave you plus everything, the equity of the house appreciated.
That sounds like I
So-
wouldn't have to. That sounds like so if you didn't make the payment, then I could get the house back. I could get the
Correct.
house back. Really, I just don't want to deal with the payment anymore. So that sounds like something I would consider. I think I might need to talk to my husband about this just to see if he's comfortable.
Absolutely. How about because you're gonna have some questions, I want to be able to answer them all at once. How about if we just sit all together and I explain everything? I'll show you proof that I've already done this before, and
Okay, I was about to ask that.
and also I'll show you also ways for you to make sure that you are on top of the monthly payments. If I don't make a payment, you get a notification that I didn't make a payment, so you can come after me if you want. So and another thing is that we put the payments on automatic through a loan servicing company. So we actually the payments are done are being done in automatic through a loan servicing
How
company.
long do you think it's gonna be, until I get this out of my name? Is there a certain time frame, like to the end of the loan, or a year maybe? I mean, is that reasonable?
Correct. That's a question that I cannot ask. I cannot answer. I'm sorry. That's a question I cannot answer. But here's another thing that
Like
that I want you to know.
based on the market, you're saying? Or?
Normally we get people out of the loans in 2 to 5 years. That's what happens in most of the cases. As a matter of fact, 99% of the cases, that's what we do. Between 2 to 5 years, we're able to successfully remove people out of the mortgage. Why? Because at that point we'll be refinancing.
Okay.
So it's something that you'll know. But regardless of that, if you want to buy another house, we can help with that. In 6 months, a year, we can help with that. We can show proof that we're making payments on this house. And we'll walk you through it. We'll get it done.
Okay. Well, this has been a good talk, Norberto. You said your name is Norberto, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. My agent told me that you were somebody that was pretty decent to deal with and credible. So that actually sounds pretty good. Like I got these other offers from the other investors that were like 70,000, but my loan is for my loan's for more than that. So.
As a matter of fact, if you want some referrals, I can send you a video for you to see, explaining everything that we do, how we do it, and I can also provide you with videos on other realtors that we have dealt before in the past. We have purchased properties and they have actually left video reviews for us. So this will actually help you make sure that you're dealing with somebody solid that can pull this off and that operates with integrity. So.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. I'll definitely get with you here in the next 24 hours. We'll set something up to meet with me and my husband, and that sounds good. So, appreciate it. Well,
Boom.
So
Yeah,
is
I actually have the videos explaining how.
Okay.
Yeah, we got.
I love it.
We paid for the.
I actually think I think I creeped your website before, and I think I saw this. or
Yeah,
maybe you might have showed me at a meetup, maybe at James Toller's or something. But okay, so you think the most important part is that call with the seller? Do you have to do something similar to sometimes with the buyers to train them? Hey, listen, the reason why you're paying the higher interest is because we can get you into the property. So on the front end, you acquire the property subject to. I know we're covering a lot of ground here.
Well,
do you have to have a similar sales tactic with the buyers?
The buyers are easy. The buyers are really easy, and I don't deal with them up until they're ready to go. Okay, we got sales people that actually explain everything to them. But a 10% interest rate, even though some of them complain about blah 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 blah, blah, they end up understanding that
the appreciation in Houston's 10% a year.
So they'll understand, and so yeah, and that's the easy part, but honestly, we sell to a market. What market? Hispanic market.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
yeah, my sales team they speak Spanish.
Okay.
And so we got a database. We follow up with them, and we present to them a bunch of houses. And as a matter of fact, I actually purchase houses from wholesalers, and we finance it to them. So if you're a wholesaler, you got a deal that is pretty tight, you're not selling, whatever, just come to me, man.
Okay.
I might
Where's
be
the
able
best
to.
place to reach you at?
I might be able to buy it from you and sell it owner finance to my people. We have done it in the past, and we actually don't bargain a lot. If as long as we have somebody ready that has a down payment, I don't care. I can buy it at your price. I've done it. So
okay, where's the best place for people to reach out to you if they want to work with you on one of these deals?
well, they're watching this on Facebook, right? So
Yeah.
Facebook, Norberto Clemente.
okay.
Reach out to me. Bring me your deals, man. Let's do business.
All right.
Yeah.
Definitely make sure to check them out on Facebook, guys. Definitely, while we're giving shout outs here, definitely make sure to check out the Facebook group, Flip Texas on Facebook. Also, subscribe to us on YouTube and give us a like, give us a comment. Let us know what you want to hear more about, owner financing, whatever in real estate investing you want to learn more about. What we probably have a couple more things here we're going to talk about maybe.
Sure. Absolutely.
Before we go. So where were we here again? We were talking about the buyers now. The 10% interest.
Yeah. So that 10%. Here's the way we want to calculate that. Okay. You want to make the payments realistic. All right.
Okay. So can we talk about my Lamarck property as an example?
Yeah.
Okay. So my Lamarck property. My payments all in with I think the new taxes that are going up and all that stuff. I think it's like say for instance in this case $915 a month is my payment, everything.
Nice.
And it's rented right now for $1,300 a month.
Mhm.
The market rent is maybe $1,400 a month. Do you look at so that's like the numbers on it. It's like
Yes.
my loan is 3.9% interest.
Okay. So I try to go by square feet and
Okay.
rental comps. All right.
Okay.
Usually I try to put around 200 on top of
Okay.
that, and that would be your monthly payment.
Okay, so
that's how you start.
So say if the rent is $1,400, then you think we can get $1,600.
1,600.
And my payment could be a little more than that with the taxes have gone up a lot this year, and actually if we have to get an additional insurance policy or whatever, it could be more than that.
Correct.
So you think in this case if the rent's $1,400, we could probably sell it on a wrap for $1,600 a month payment?
That's where you start. That's where I would start.
Oh, it could be even okay. Start for negotiating purposes.
That's where I would start. But ultimately, you wanna make sure that you sell it, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to.
We don't want to price it too high on this guy.
So I look at both things. All right. You don't want to let go of a potential buyer, especially if they have your desired down payment. That's important. Okay. And as long as they're close to what you want to make, right? I think you gotta be fine, because you want to go to the next. All right. Time is money, all right, and you got a mortgage you're paying, so that holding cost is actually going to equate to what? Maybe if you pay 1 month, probably 2 years of your
cash flow.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I'll try to I try to work with people. I try to work with people. Because you gotta make sure that you got somebody interested in buying, and will alleviate the bleeding, because sometimes you can let go of somebody that could be the only buyer in a year.
Okay.
All right, you don't want to do that. So that's number one. Number two, this is a secret ninja trick that I learned from Dan Diaz. So
From San Antonio, right?
Yeah, shout out to him. I mean, Dan is an awesome guy, very knowledgeable. And so at the beginning, I used to, you give me $10,000. Okay, so I'm selling the house for $100,000. The finance amount is gonna be $90,000.
Okay.
All right. but not right now, or not after done seminar. Okay, I learned that you can charge a lender fee. And so
some points.
you can charge a lender fees, and remember that you got to pay closing too. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even think about that because we pay points whenever we get a hard money loan, a private loan. A lot of times, to buy a house normally, I mean, they're usually charging 2 points or something like that.
So it was tough.
Maybe 3 points.
Remember, I told you everything is in the presentation.
The
Right?
negotiation,
When
okay.
you're presenting to the potential buyer, that 10% is going to go towards closing and lender fees. That's a challenge. At least to me, the first time.
10%.
10%. Okay,
That's a little high.
All right, but it is what it is. It's a 5% lender fees, and roughly with Armelo, 5% closing.
Is that an accurate number? Is that
Closing
what
costs.
is that what you're getting?
Well, it's
on your
it's not
Without the down payment?
It's actually close. It's very close. But guess what? You can charge as a lender whatever you want lender fees.
Yeah.
They
do it. They do it
in traditional loans.
Do you want the house or not?
Exactly. So at the beginning, the first time I pulled this off was with a house that we sold for $265,000.
Okay.
In Lamarck, actually.
In Lamarck.
Yeah.
I didn't know houses sell for that much.
Yeah,
in Lamarck.
it's a big house. It was a big house.
Okay.
So that's the first time, and it wasn't to American guys, American people. It wasn't to Hispanic. I normally deal with Hispanics.
Okay.
So it was a little bit of a challenge. All right, it was actually a nurse,
Really?
and that was
Wow.
buying the house with the mom. I don't know why, but they did it. I think they have some credit issues.
For some reason, she couldn't
And
go out and get that
so-
number. She thought she couldn't get that normal loan.
It was a challenge to explain that to them, all right, but they understood it, and so I put 10% of their down payment in my pocket,
Okay.
So no, of course, well, not everything, because I had to pay closing costs, and we paid the title policy,
Okay.
everything was covered by me, including Armelo.
Okay. Yeah.
And so, but what was left remaining went to my pocket,
Okay.
and I was very happy that day when I was
So
able
how
to
much
put.
did you get in your pocket?
I don't remember for that
So it's
transaction
like
anymore.
260,000. Are you usually getting 10 to 20% down?
I
on
think
these
I
things?
think probably I made like $12,000.
Okay.
So, but it was
But
awesome. I got
that's
it,
what you make on a wholesale fee
Exactly,
anyways.
exactly.
And now you get the extra.
and it was a subject to, so
Okay.
it was a subject to seller finance, the same, or owner finance, the same thing. So, I was able to successfully put 10% in my pocket, and now on every transaction I do it.
10, so you're telling me on every deal now that you're able to buy subject to and sell it on a rack, or sell it under what they call owner finance. You're able to get 10% in your pocket, plus make money monthly.
Let's call it 5 to 6%.
percent.
5 to 6% in your pocket.
Okay.
Because
conservatively.
the rest is
Closing
Armelo
costs or-
and Armelo. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Closing costs and Armelo.
Okay.
So that was a super ninja trick that I learned there, man, and it really made me so much money so far. That's why I have to give credit, because
All right, shout out to Dan.
not only learn,
Dan Cito,
but also
YFBD.
make me a lot of money. Made me a lot of money. So
Okay.
yeah, it was his seminar was at the point, I don't know right now, but $375.
That's
And those
crazy.
$375 made me $10,000 or $10,000 in my next one.
In the first week.
So that's why, guys, it's free is good, okay, but pay sometimes is better.
Okay. Okay.
So pay for that knowledge, pay for that coach, man.
As long as it's not a fluffy coach.
As long as exactly.
Okay, so I like it, man. So you're making money up front, then you're making money monthly.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think it's realistic on my Lamar? We'll go back to my selfish
Yes.
Lamarck property.
Yeah.
Do you think it's realistic to ask for between 10 to 20? I think with you, I was like, hey, you're like, how much do you want down? If I get 20% down, I mean, that'd be incredible.
20% is
Is that a little?
no, 20% is fine.
Aggressive?
But if they give 10%, nothing goes towards principal reduction. Remember?
Mhm.
So for $7,400, they give 10%, which is $10,000. They're still gonna owe $100,000.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, because they were only able to cover
The
closing.
closing costs.
Exactly.
Okay. So what do you is there a certain down payment when you're say these buyers, are they mostly you're finding them on Facebook, maybe they're calling you off bandit signs? Are you finding them through are you finding them because I messaged a couple like loan officers and they didn't really have anybody for me. I was like, hey, do y'all have I asked a loan officer, I'm like, hey, do you have anybody that gets disqualified from a normal mortgage? How do you find these people? Is the first question. I know I have so many. And then the second question is, are you running these buyers through an RMLO so to protect yourself of them saying, oh, he took advantage of me and or something like this.
Okay.
Like to cover, is that like a cover your ass kind of trick?
Well,
like,
as long as you're not doing based on the
do
the
you
laws,
or
the
do you
laws.
need RMLO?
Well, if you do more than 3 a year, I think you need Armelo.
Okay. Or if you want to sell the note,
Or if you want to sell the
too,
note,
right?
exactly. But I really don't care about selling the note. Okay. I care about protecting myself.
So you don't sell notes. You just like the cash flow.
I like the cash flow, and I want as much as I can. you
Yeah.
know. So I care about protecting myself. That's what I would do, Armelo. Okay. And so yeah, if you do more than 3, I recommend you to do Armelo.
My question is, and we'll go back to the how do you find the buyers now. So you said you use the RMLO. We're going to talk about the buyers, but my next question is, if these people, like you said, this person has bad credit for the Lamarck house, if they're coming in and they're paying higher interest to finance the house through us as investors, how are they not able to qualify for, say, a traditional product, but then they're able to go through an RMLO? So like how much more lenient is this RMLO versus a traditional lender? Because that's my question.
Yeah.
Because like, is there actually a demographic that fits for, or do you send some people over to your RMLO and they're like heck no, Norberto, these people are whack. Like
so you know what? There's so much content diarrhea out there, man. So much stuff that you can learn.
Okay.
I mean, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
You know, it's overwhelming. So because it is overwhelming, all the knowledge that you can acquire, business-wise, you know, real estate. I don't care what niche.
And you don't need it. You don't need it all right now. You know?
Exactly. So that sometimes you could go to the root of something. Okay. Why does it even matter? Or and learn a bunch of stuff. Okay. So, but because life goes so fast and there's so much out there. I don't care about having an answer for every question that I have. I just care for the right process.
Okay.
Just to have the right process, make sure I do things right. I don't question everything. But that's a good question. I don't have the exact answer.
Okay.
Now, but I'm gonna tell you what I know.
Obviously there is a market for it.
I'm gonna tell you what I know.
Or maybe they think that
even if they are unqualified, even if they are unqualified, I try to make it qualify, regardless. Just give me a letter or something that says that you are making this much
from your job,
from bonuses or whatever, So to make sure that. So to my buyers, I tell them you're qualified. All right, I'm telling you from right now, you're qualified, but you're gonna have to go through Armelo. That's it. But you're qualified. So I'm the one that makes the decision.
Really? Okay, so you're qualifying me. Are you looking at my stuff? What are you looking at?
They're gonna look at everything.
Are you looking at my job and how much I make and my credit score or what?
Pay stubs, taxes, credit, everything.
Okay.
Yeah, and Armelo is just gonna look at everything.
Okay, and then obviously it's just a little more lenient maybe.
Yeah, I think banks are different, operate different than investors. Like us. So they are the different requirements.
The RMLO maybe shows you some different requirements, and then you're like,
correct.
Hey,
I believe that's.
Or do you accept this? And you're like, yeah. I mean, because everybody wants a place for their family to go, and that's going to be the last place somebody's not going to make a bill on. People are going to stop paying for their office or for this or for their car before they stop paying for that.
But remember, the Armelo is going to help in case at some point, and if that happens, a buyer is going to try to sue you because you took advantage of them. Okay. So another thing that this is very important. It goes together with how important is the presentation. Presentation to the seller, presentation to the buyer.
Okay.
Rapport. Okay. Even if you buy a subject to with the right paperwork, super tight, that seller can give you a headache.
Yeah.
Can take you to court. You're gonna have to.
Yeah.
They
could call the bank, right?
It doesn't matter how many documents you make them sign. All right. So it is really important that you build that rapport with the seller. All right. And sometimes it's not only the report, it's the right seller.
I agree with this so much because I have people where it's like they're telling me this is a crazy seller, and I'm like, when you do a subject to deal, you're not. It's kind of I don't know if the right word is marriage, but you're entering into a long-term relationship. Do you want to enter into a long-term relationship with somebody that's crazy? Like, because some of these sellers, they're a little weird.
Yeah.
And so I had a seller in spring that I sold their property. We bought a subject to, and then I just sold the property to him. His name's James, and he came and got us a check from our office last week for the insurance policy. Anyways, but he was the easiest guy to deal with, and so I knew if there was anything that came back, he would, like, if there was any issues, he would deal with it. This lady in Lamarck, she just didn't want to deal with it. But if she had to, I know she would. But there are some people that I don't know if you sense like, hey, if they're a little bit of trouble, I mean, that's going to be a pain.
You want to have the best relationship with your sellers and with your buyers. For example, one deal that I did also about maybe like 6 months ago. Okay, this property that I was intended to flip. This is why I hate flipping. All right,
Okay.
I don't have a good experience with flipping.
Intending.
So COVID hit. We couldn't sell it. Man, I had to pay my lender, so we had to refinance. Okay, when we're in the process of refinancing.
Why are you refinancing?
To refinance the property to pay the lender.
Okay.
So
because the flip went along.
Correct. So, and I had the buyers ready to go, and they were able to collect the down payment. So, but what I did on this deal is, I had such a great rapport with them. All right, and
with the buyers.
Yes, we actually closed. All right, but the deed was not recorded up until I refinanced. So I brought to closing the funds, their money to, for the refinancing. All right. So, and
you're making our brains hurt here.
But he agreed to not record a deed. You see what I'm saying?
This is definitely a self-closing, right?
He agreed not to close the deed. So
I have questions about how to self-close later on. But
so
this guy.
and I was able to do that because I had a good relationship with the buyers.
So he bought the property cash or no?
No, wait. No, he bought auto finance.
Okay, he bought an owner finance.
So he bought the funds to close with me before I refinance.
Just a down payment.
Yes.
And then you refinanced the property, and you had you were a little more comfortable on your cash, or like what?
Well, I closed with their cash.
Did you say? And you saved some a lot of closing costs there.
Yeah, I didn't have to pay anything on my own. I actually walk away with money after everything. And then plus the interest every month. So,
oof.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, what more?
Because you can work awesome deals with people if you build that relationship, but again, if it's the right people.
Okay.
All right. Because you can have the skills, but people can be difficult.
Okay. So when you're finding these buyers, I hear there's a couple strategies. I talked to a guy in town here, Yui. And Yui Wen here, and he says, put up some bandit signs to get some of these buyers. Do you put up bandit signs? Do you network with loan officers?
No.
Or
now we don't need to do that. Right now we don't. Okay, but it's always good.
Or just Facebook Marketplace, or they're everywhere.
Because we have been doing that for so long, we have a database.
Okay.
A very large database.
Okay.
And of buyers and Hispanic investors.
Okay.
But not your traditional investor.
Like I want to
that's in like doesn't like 20 wholesalers list or anything. These are the people that they do your flips, all right, your contractors. But from time to time they put some money together and they do it on their own. It's one deal today, another deal in 6 months.
Yes.
And so that kind of buyer, all right. So we sell deals to them. All right, and
like
some of it
family money, like
and we sell deals to them, owner finance, and sometimes wholesale as well. So we're able to make a little bit more than what you would do on a normal wholesaling fee.
Okay.
You see?
So you built it up over time. You're saying
correct.
For somebody new, what do you suggest to get some of these buyers?
But still, bandit signs we don't do, right? But I always recommend just put 20 around your house.
Okay.
20 by designs.
Okay.
Major
20
intersections.
around the house.
Home Depot is very important because
Home
they
Depot.
are all in Home Depot. Okay, so go to Home Depot, go to Walmart. All right, put them there.
All right.
And so that's one thing.
Okay.
And the other one is Facebook groups.
Okay.
By the way,
Facebook groups.
pitch.
What kind of Facebook groups? Like just
Hispanic Facebook groups.
Hispanic Facebook
If
groups?
you're not in that network, that's
I'm
why
not
that's
there.
why,
I'm
that's
not
why
there.
you're not selling your deals. But anyways, we that's how we were able to. It's combined with Bandit Science and Facebook groups.
You
now. We
post
have
in
built
there.
a-
You're like, hey,
Yeah.
like I have a house for sale, owner finance.
I actually have a little tool that allows you to post in multiple groups with one click.
Okay.
You know, so
Okay.
that's a tool. It's called Poster Machine. It's a software that we own, and you know, it's just small amount every month. You know, we actually have a special right now of 10 people for $10 a month. When
Wow.
it is a $47 a month.
That sounds like a
And
deal.
it's going to start at $47 a month.
Okay.
But you can post in multiple groups. It export all your Facebook groups, and then you create your post. It posts the automatic background, color background, random
Okay.
color background, or you can put a picture. So you can actually post a picture or with a background on every single group, and it's just one click and that's it. It just posts on all the groups. You won't get banned by Facebook. It mimics human behavior.
Okay.
So it is a really good software, and we use that all the time. You know,
Okay.
to post on Facebook groups, because again, otherwise it's just one by one.
Okay.
You know, it takes a bunch of time, and so yeah,
I like
it's free
it.
marketing, basically. You know.
Okay. Well, that's incredible. That sounds like a really good way. I mean, I know
Mhm.
everybody's on Facebook these days.
Yes. Well, Facebook is what has allowed us to build our database of
Okay.
potential buyers.
So Facebook, that's a big nugget.
Yes.
I like that what you said about the sellers, like maybe showing them a video of like, hey, this is the process. We are credible. We're trustworthy. That's
We
pretty cool.
in the we use a website. It's called acomprarcasa.com as our front, you know, and we have video reviews on that website, and so people can see owner finance video reviews and just transactions, just video reviews.
They bought our house.
So we from time to time we send a mass text to everybody for them to check our reviews. And then also when we close, I normally send $100 gift card or restaurant reservation, whatever, to the buyers. And of course we ask them for a review. So
That's awesome. That's
yeah,
something we
I pay $100 for a review. Review me, I'll pay you $100.
That's a great idea.
It is because
we were sleeping on reviews for a while, and until recently we've really like you just had to hammer a little harder on the reviews. Ask people, once, ask them twice.
Yeah.
Give them a gift card or something, because especially in this industry, people sometimes we find that when we get, especially these sellers, like say on the cash deals, that maybe they don't want to be embarrassed that they sold their house in a condition where it wasn't, where say the house, it needed a lot of work. So a lot of times maybe they don't want to advertise their friends and family like, hey, I was going through this situation where my house looked like it was a hoarder item. I'm a hoarder and my house looked really bad, so I sold it to these guys. So we've had a hard time getting reviews.
But if you give them money,
okay,
in exchange for the review, that will change.
But you got to work on it.
That'll change. $100 to $300, and I'll do it. Here's the thing. All right, people buy, or people do business with people they like, know, and trust. Right.
Yep.
So if you have reviews, what do you have?
You have, they feel like they can trust you.
Exactly.
Then they talk to it. They want to talk to someone on your team that they like. They trust you, and then you're credible.
So you need them, and that's why and actually, in the Hispanic community, right? People do business with people that they trust.
Yeah.
All right, they have to trust you. That's extremely important. And so because there's a lot of stories about people being scammed because they don't know.
Yeah.
Right. They don't speak English. Sometimes they don't know what they're signing. So you got to build the trust.
With a lot of say like minority communities or other races too.
They have been taken advantage of, and those stories are wandering around. Everybody knows about somebody that got scammed. And so we need the reviews. We really need them. So that's why in our business is we do it on every transaction.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I like it. Is there? You have a couple last words of wisdom for people And then for 2022 moving
Yeah.
forward, I really want to grow. I really want to grow the amount. Hopefully this property. I'm trying to sell on a note in Lamarck. I would love to grow, a portfolio there, portfolio here in the Texas area of notes that I'm holding.
Yeah, what I would advise to people is, I come from Cuba. I came from Cuba about 12 years ago. Okay, Cuba is a dictatorship, so a little bit of background. Dictatorship, poor family. I mean, I didn't have the best education.
Okay.
You see, so it's been really hard, man. The process of learning and becoming, it is super hard. Okay, but I would advise to people, entrepreneurs, just buy more books, read more books, less Netflix, less TV, less video games. What
do they say? But Yellowstone is so good. What do they say?
Less video games, more network.
Okay.
Never give up and think big.
Okay.
Why?
Well, you're inspirational.
Because you're gonna die as big as you can. Just think as big as you can.
All right, 100 notes.
Thousand
notes. I lied. I have one note on I have one note for some land that I sold, and I get $500 a month from that land note.
Wow, nice.
But
yeah, bro. And passive income is the way to go. Passive income, because we are gonna die one day, right? So what do you want? What are you taking with you? You cannot take the money. Right? You cannot take the money, and you're not taking anything, as a matter of fact. But you can accumulate memories.
Okay.
Cherish people.
Does real estate help you do that?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I don't have to go to work. I don't have to go. I don't spend time in rush hour or anything. I spend the whole day in my house with my babies and wife.
I love
and I love that. Waking up, I don't have to go anywhere. I'll stay there, whatever. And so I just. Man, I love that. I never thought I could live this life in the U.S. coming from Cuba. Are you kidding me? And so I just love it, bro. I love it. And so that's just life, man. It's life. Working for somebody else is not life. And having to work to make money is not life either. Unless, number one, you love what you do, and number two, you get to decide what you want to do with your time.
Okay.
When do you want to work? You put your own hours.
Yeah.
And also, right. And we got to be a little bit careful with not becoming workaholics, because I can be working the whole day, weekend and everything. Sunday.
I want to work so hard.
Every day for me is Monday. Monday. Well, Monday.
Until I get 50 notes. I get 50 notes, I'm going to work 10 hours.
I say that every day for me is Monday and Saturday. I don't have any other day, because Saturday is the day you're happy, you decide to do stuff with your family or whatever, and that day can be any day when you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And Mondays, because in our case, we get to work, but when we get to work and we think about Monday, we're excited. I love that tomorrow's gonna be Monday. Yeah. I'm gonna be jumping on that phone, doing this, talking with this guy.
Oh, man, you're cracking me up.
So Monday and Saturday.
I don't have
any other day.
We all deserve to be like excited with what we're doing every single day. So that's awesome. I haven't on Friday, like today's Friday. I don't feel any differently any day of the week now. Like it doesn't feel different. I have one last question for you before we go. Can you give me 3 tips to self-closing deals?
How's that, man?
Because I want to self-close deals. Sometimes, like say it's a land deal, and I don't want to buy a piece of land for $4,000, $5,000, and the title fees to be, $3,000 to $2,500 to close a $5,000 land deal. I know you're self-closing some of your subject to deals. Can you give us, in theory, a closing? You just have to have someone draft up a deed. So you draft a deed, right?
You can draft it yourself.
Okay, you yourself or an attorney, whatever, right? Okay, you drafted deeds. It's not rocket science.
Well, here's the thing.
And what are the other steps to self-closing? Like, do we make some of this stuff too complicated? Because I know you can hire someone to do a title search.
Yes.
Right. So are you always doing that?
You can have the title company to do the title search.
Can you explain to me a 2-minute process of how do you self-close like a subject to?
Well, look, in this deal that I'm doing, I don't do it on all the deals that I have, right? But in this deal that I'm doing right now, I just have the attorney to draft the deed and promissory note and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
You know?
Attorney gets ready to draft the deed, the
And,
promissory.
and here's the thing: you don't need to become an attorney. All you need to is to have a real estate attorney that you're going to hire to do this. You know.
Okay.
And
you pay him like $500 to $1,000 or.
$1,000 is what I'm paying there. I believe it's 1,200 or so is what I'm paying.
Okay.
You know, for the closing docs, and that's it. And
they're doing a title search, or somebody else, or the title company.
Well, they're not doing anything. They're just doing the paperwork.
Okay, so do you have to separately pay for a title search? Or are you separately?
If when you're buying, yes, I would pay the title company for a title search.
But if you're selling it, you don't.
Yeah, you don't sell it now. You don't need that. You don't need that. You know, and when you're buying subject to, man, that's paying. I don't want to do when I buy subject to. I get a title search and that's it. Now, if there's a water filter in the house, or any other special, I don't know, not addition, but in one case, for example, we bought a house in not Port Arthur. Where is it? Texas City. I don't know. I don't remember some. La Port. I don't know.
Okay. South.
Trash neighborhood, trash house. But the lady that sold it to us, subject to, she had a $10,000 bathtub.
Bathtub.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
One of those bathtub for old people that you
cool.
open a little door, you
yes.
see it plays music and all that kind of stuff.
And they put the note for that on her house.
Well, there was a lien.
A lien for this bathtub.
Correct. Another house that I bought.
Expensive bathtub.
There was a
I hope it's
lien.
a hot tub.
They were paying for a water filter, an expensive one of those $8,000.
Did you know that when you bought it?
No.
You didn't catch it?
No, I didn't.
I was a lot of money,
so I would say, yeah, you just get a title search. But sometimes, if you're current, well, no, not necessarily, right? Because I believe that the lien is recorded if you default, right? Or the deed is actually the lien is recorded, right when they do the purchase. So make sure that there's no like expensive
attached to the property.
Yeah,
no contractor.
Yeah, no water filter, no, none of those things. If you see that, right, you got to inquire. You got, for example, solar panels on the house, right? There's a lien for that, So make sure you know how much it is. Okay, and just so that you quantify that in your numbers.
Okay.
So I would advise people, do the title search and make sure you inspect the house for those things, right? And you don't need to. I normally don't go through a title company to close my subject twos. I just do the title search, and if it's all good, I just have the paperwork. I already got the paperwork. I paid for it, a subject to package.
Unless maybe they want to feel more comfortable going to the title company, and you're like, oh, okay, we'll pay that.
Yeah,
but it's a lot of extra money.
Well, it's extra money.
Subject to it's you want it to do a little out of pocket as possible.
And here's the thing that I do, right? Here's the thing that I do. I don't get a title policy when I close on a subject to. I don't get I just do a title search and I close it.
Yeah.
When I sell it, I just get a title policy to the seller.
You
the buyer, I'm sorry.
They buy a title policy or no?
Yeah, I pay for the title policy because remember, closing costs are included.
Okay.
So at that point, we do the whole thing because otherwise you'll be paying double. You're paying when you close and when you purchase, and then you pay when you sell.
Okay. So you're doing it on the sale. You're paying for a title policy. That's a really nice thing.
Yeah.
You're
and
paying
then look,
for that title
and
policy.
here's another thing. Here's another thing. Like normally those two things happen at the same time. So you get the subject to paperwork, all signed, notarized.
Oh, you're okay.
Yeah.
You're telling me that you
still have time to catch up with whatever.
Are you telling me that you're essentially doing two closings at the same time? Yes. So you always or sometimes have it lined up to where
most of the time
you're literally
of the time I'm able to combine
almost a double closing to where you're not buying this subject to property and then you're not doing some crazy renovations and then waiting another 30, 60 days to then sell it later.
Plus, look,
you're selling it at the same time you're buying it.
You don't need to record the deed when as soon as the seller signs on the paperwork. You can just hold it with you and then you sell it and then you find out if there's anything wrong and you can go back and and I know that you're gonna have a lot of, if you do subject twos, you're gonna have a lot of subject twos that are zero out of pocket. If you know how to structure it properly, Otherwise, you're gonna have $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 in the line, right? So at that point, if you know that if you have a buyer line, which normally happens with us, most of the time we have a buyer line, Okay, we don't give any money to the seller until we, catch everything up in the title commitment here,
Okay.
because the title commitment, right? It's my understanding that it's a way, it goes a little bit deeper, right?
Yeah, it
My opinion.
covers your butt. So are you, on most of these deals, are you just, are you giving the seller like maybe $1,000 to move? Are you giving them zero?
Yeah.
Or are you giving them something crazy? Like some of these people, they're off, asking 10 to 20,000.
Most we have done is $3,000.
Is how much?
3.
Oh, okay. That's
3,000.
reasonable.
$3,000.
So it sounds like you're in good negotiations, huh?
Mhm. Yeah, well, another thing is that when you're buying subject twos, most of the houses that you're gonna get,
There's not a lot of equity.
there's not a lot of equity. You know why? Because I'm gonna say 90% of houses that you're gonna buy subject to come from people that are divorcing,
Really?
and they divorce within the first 5 years of marriage. There's not a ton of equity there.
Okay, so your
Yeah.
primary
Yeah.
source of these deals is divorce.
Yeah. I mean, when you see the foreclosure list, most of them are divorcing. Most of them. I mean, there's the percentage of cases of people divorcing and ending up with foreclosure is way, way higher than unemployment and illness.
Okay. Okay.
So, or relocation or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Most of the time it's going to be people divorcing.
Wow.
So, and they divorce within the first 5 years. It's very common.
Wow.
So there's a crazy like 20-50% rate of people divorcing within the first 5 years. It's ridiculous.
Do you say that's the classification of people you buy most of your sub 2 deals?
Yes.
It's from people divorcing.
People divorcing.
Like not because in here we don't have a crazy military population. It's not like San Antonio.
Mhm.
A lot of here in San Antonio, a lot of the deals are like, hey, we're doing we need to move right now for a deployment.
Mhm.
So you say divorce. Okay.
Divorce.
Well, I hope y'all are taking some notes.
Yeah,
here.
take some notes.
This is some serious gems. I think
Yeah.
honestly we've given away so much gems. People need to listen to this. Sleep on it.
Yeah.
I don't think they can handle anymore.
And execute.
I don't know if I can handle any more gems, but I really appreciate
Hey, thank you,
Norberto.
brother. Thank you for
Make sure to
having me.
check him out on Facebook and see if he can help y'all with y'all's deals. Definitely make sure to subscribe on YouTube. Hit us up at Flip Texas Facebook group, and we'll see y'all soon. Appreciate it, guys.